Although the manga was already well established, it's rare for a manufacturer to put a figure up for pre-order several months before the animes even started airing, but that's exactly what Phat Company did with today's figure, Rin Suzunoki and her Suzuki GSX400S Katana from Bakuon. The anime didn't start airing until April of this year, but she was up for pre-order as early as October or November last year. I had no idea if I would like the show or the character, so suffice to say I took a bit of a gamble by pre-ordering her. Thankfully it paid off, as Bakuon was probably my favourite anime of the spring season. If you don't know what the show is about, this figure is a pretty good representation. Cute girls and motorcycles, two of my favourite things coming together, at last. So the box with this figure is pretty, I mean, it's not bad, but there's nothing really that special about it. Although it's nice that they include things like the original illustration and the tagline for the show. I always appreciate it when they do that. And before we get to the figure itself, I just want to say that I really like this base. From the colours and the gravelly texture, clearly it's meant to be a piece of road. I mean, you'd probably be disappointed if it were anything else, right? And even though it has a lot of branding, it's like there's so much branding that it becomes interesting. You have the Bakuon logo, the Katana logo, the speedometer, the tachometer, and even information about the Katana and Rin herself. Since specs are such a massive part of motoring, it only feels appropriate to include them. Because of the intricacies with the bike, I thought that perhaps Rin herself might be a bit meh, but she's actually surprisingly detailed. Perhaps a little rough around the edges, sure. I mean, I can certainly see a few flaws if I look closely enough. The hair, although intricate, isn't quite as refined as it is in some other figures, and there are a few strands that look a little tacked on, but I am nitpicking because there's still some really nice sculpting and painting going on here. The few flaws are quite mild in the grand scheme of the figure. And her expression is cute, but her face is quite flat and quite odd looking from some angles. But it's faithful to the original illustration, so I'm not really sure I can fault Phat there. In fact, something I should commend Phat on is going the extra mile and including Rin's Suzuki tattoo on her ass. This isn't a cast-off figure, but that particular detail makes me wish it was. To be honest, it's actually really hard to see. You kind of need to like lift your skirt up with your fingers. Yeah. Anyway, just take my word for it. As I'm sure you've probably noticed by the little title card I have in the introduction of the video and the title of the video itself, this is a 1/10 scale figure, and some people may feel ripped off by that considering the price. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand where you're coming from, but I believe it's because of the motorcycle. I mean, I browsed the car model section of AmiAmi and I didn't see too many motorcycles over 1/12 scale, let alone 1/10. The few that I did see were freaking expensive, man, and so I think it's actually pretty easy to justify the price here, especially when you consider that this motorcycle is officially licensed by Suzuki. I read on the product page for this figure that it was sculpted using CAD software, which, with the help of a Google search, I learnt is used in fields such as architecture and structural engineering. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what that means, but it sounds impressive at the very least, and I think it goes to show because the level of detail and craftsmanship on this machine is quite impressive. I feared that the bike might feel cheap, and although it does feel a little flimsy and a little plasticky, it totally looks the part. I mean, they even use translucent parts for the lights and indicators, not to mention real mirrors. Despite having a great appreciation and love of cars and, to a lesser extent, motorcycles, I don't have any serious models, and I'm no mechanic or engineer either, so maybe this motorcycle is missing crucial features, or Phat have totally botched an aspect of it. But looking at pictures of the real thing, it looks like they did a pretty damn good job. And if you want to buy this figure just for the motorcycle, you can! Rin is totally detachable and you can replace the Bakuon license plate with a standard GSX400S Katana plate. To be honest, I wish Rin and the bike were magnetic, because it's quite hard to move the motorcycle without feeling like Rin is going to fall off. Now, I admit that I was skeptical of this figure. I was worried it was overly ambitious, but from what I can see, it seems that Phat have delivered on most, if not all, fronts. Although I have defended the price and the scale, it does mean that it is still pretty hard to recommend this figure to people. However, I personally can say that I am very happy to have her in my collection, so I'll leave that judgment up to you. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and happy collecting. Bye bye.